Philadelphia Eagles may not necessarily need a slot receiver, but we're going to look at one anyway. Christian Kirk is next on our list. That's who we're looking at. What do you think, Brennan Albert?
Man, you go to the dudes in the Big 12, you know they're going to be able to play in space. You go to a guy who played and coached someone's offense, you know his numbers are going to be really, really impressive. And Christian Kirk certainly checks both of those boxes in spades.
So the first thing we're going to look at is his body control. This is an out and up route. This is the Belk Bowl, I believe, and this is a hell of a catch along the left sideline.
This was a heck of a game, too. This is one of those games I watched, and I was like, man, it's actually a really good football game. Great job here of his ability to back shoulder it, catch it, turn, and get his feet in bounds. That's a really difficult ability there.
Yeah, this is 3rd and 18, too. So you know what's coming, and you still can't stop it.
Back shoulder throw, man. Going to the moneymaker. Awesome job here.
Look at that. Woo! That's an NFL catch right there.
For sure.
All right. He's got some yak ability. He's got some moves in the open field. He's got a different kind of things in his arsenal. This is a screen pass, and look at this stiff arm.
Plays a little edge here. You know, I wouldn't go as far as to say he's Golden Tate, but he definitely is a competitive dude who plays with a lot of confidence. I love that. So if you were saying I could compare him to Golden Tate, I don't think that's completely accurate, but I don't disagree with it either.
Yeah, look at him. Shifts to the inside, gets the block from the receiver, cuts back outside, stiff arm, 6 points.
Yep.
All right, one more example of yak. This is New Mexico, so take this with a grain of salt, but still showing off the ability.
Big time here. Now, again, this is something similar we talked about with DJ Shark in one of his clips. Is this good angles for New Mexico? Absolutely not. But his stop and start ability is really noticeable here. And for a guy who's going to play in the slot and get a lot of these option under routes things, you have to be able to take a 3-yard reception and make it into a 13-yard completion.
Yeah, look at all that room in front of him, too. So it's a lot easier to juke when you got all that space.
Big time.
There you go. All right, so the bonus of Christian Kirk and what may make him a first-round pick, potentially. We'll see if he goes in that top 32. Kickoff return ability. He takes this one all the way back. This is against Arkansas.
Yeah, you're noticing a trend here when you're looking at that lower right scoreboard. A&M like to put points up. And to me, guys, personally, I wouldn't take a receiver in the first round who I think ultimately is going to be a slot receiver in the NFL unless he's a guy who can really make a difference in special teams. And Christian absolutely can in the punt and in the return game. So where do I think he's necessarily a top 15 pick? No. I think he's a guy, his earliest is maybe 19 at Dallas. It's in that 20 to 40 range as well. I think there's a big lump between guys of Christian Kirk, Sutton, and DJ Shark. I think all three of those guys are really tight as far as who goes first in that mix. I like DJ Moore and Ridley a little bit more. Sorry, Alabama receivers, man. Just roll one after another. Yes. So his ability to play special teams, though, is awesome. This is what's going to really make him stand out from some other potential receivers who play the slot.
All right, so one of the things that we've kind of talked about before, but we've never really gotten into it specifically, Texas A&M, a team that kind of schemes their wide receivers open. What does that mean necessarily?
Scheming receivers open is all about making sure that you have guys on different levels using the entire field to make the safety cover the entire field or safeties cover the entire field. The other thing that they do a really nice job at here is they know, hey, Christian Kirk, he's a guy who he makes his killing in speed releases, and he makes his killing when he gets free releases. He's not really a guy who I'm confident playing as an X like a guy like Golden Tate is. I think he's more like Sterling Shepard. So as you notice here, what does Texas A&M do? They bring him in motion to a stack position, meaning there's no way that UCLA here can press him up. And now his ability to stop-start right here, get the underneath route, and now create separation with his ability to run after the catch is really noticeable.
And there you go. And this is a 3rd and 5 completion. But, you said it right there. When you stack the receiver, you get more free releases, and he gets it here. Use that quickness, shiftiness, and he wins the route.
Yep.
All right,
two angle routes in a row.
Yeah, what's that?
We have 2 angle routes in a row here. Kind of one's run from a stack position, and then he's going to run another angle here from a halfback position.
Yeah, this one, he hauls in for a touchdown. But you can see here he doesn't look it in right away. He doesn't get his head around. Really good.
You can see here in the second view that Adrian has, you're going to see here, guys, that is it a touchdown? Absolutely. Does he make the reception? Absolutely. But as you'll see here, he's not ready for this ball. Doesn't do a great job of getting his head around, and that's one of the criticisms I have of Christian Kirk. I think he can be a little bit quicker with getting his head around out of breaks. Right now, his head needs to be around. We see here he's a little bit late, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, the football's in my lap. It kind of surprised me. What you have to remember here, guys, is when you go – players are in the NFL, throwing windows of time are smaller, which means ball has to be out quicker, meaning receiver, your head has to be around quicker. That's a good, fair concern for Christian Kirk in the next level, especially in the slot where you're closer to the quarterback. That ball gets on you a lot quicker than, say, an X receiver who's out towards the numbers.
So there you go. Ball hits him right in the face, but he still hauls it in for the touchdown. So there you go. Big game for Christian Kirk in that Belk Bowl against Wake Forest.
So if I'm negative on Christian Kirk, let's start that route. If I'm not a negative Christian Kirk guy, I'm saying probably only really going to be a slot receiver in the next level. Doesn't do a great job getting his head around. And I question how much ability he has to really get off line of scrimmage because he was schemed open so much at Texas A&M. So there's my negatives. If I'm positive, I think if I'm a team like the Packers, if I'm a team like the Patriots, hell, if I'm a team like the Raiders in the early second, he's sitting there, man, I could make a killing with Christian Kirk in my slot, and he's a dynamic return man as well. I think he's a guy that goes 20 to 40, as I mentioned, anywhere from Dallas all the way to like middle of the second round, but he's going to go to a team who wants to run a lot of slot option stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, so that's pretty much it on Christian Kirk. Not a lot of material for him. Not a lot of tape that we could show because there really wasn't much to see. So,
and the problem is it's not necessarily that like you guys are thinking, what do you mean? He has all these numbers, all receiving numbers. But the numbers and the everything else and all the film and all that, it doesn't really give us a great deal to look at because all of his stuff is schemed open. It's the same thing with Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. These receivers, yes, they're scoring touchdowns. Yes, they're making receptions. But sometimes you're just able to say this is good coaching more necessarily than good execution by a player.
Yeah. And I'm glad we got that in this video because Christian Kirk, out of all the receivers in this draft, is probably the best example of being schemed open, per se.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? In the NFL, if I'm going to be fair, that happens in the NFL too. A guy like Randall Cobb, Julian Edelman, those guys are schemed open. So I would say if Christian Kirk could go to one of those teams, or here's another one, the New Orleans Saints. I mean, he can make a killing in these type of places.
Yeah, that's why we always see like no names, like a Willie Snead, per se. Get a bunch of yards throughout the season. And then they go somewhere else. Well, it's not that Snead is going somewhere else, but we see that all the time where a guy will put up big numbers and then go somewhere else and then not do a damn thing.
Absolutely. I think, a guy like Christian Kirk, if he goes to a really aggressive and really innovative offensive coach, he could be nasty. But if you're a team, I'm going to use mine, like the Baltimore Ravens, who pretty much just uses two receivers and looks for more bigger guys, he's not a fit there.
All right. That's Christian Kirk, Brendan Albert, Adrian Fedke. Take care, guys. Peace.
Appreciate it.